This video is sponsored by Direct Mobiles. You can check out their deals at directmobiles.co.uk. The latest set of Sony Xperia flagship phones for me are one of the most underrated phones of 2019. The critics were a bit harsh on it for its unusual display, which has split opinion amongst people, but also for its comparatively small battery, rather mean amount of RAM and below average camera performance. For me, both the Xperia 1 and the Xperia 5 are great phones, although they are let down a little bit when it comes to photos. But with each new Sony release, they do seem to catch up a little bit with the competition when it comes to specs. And this does seem to be true when it comes to their forthcoming releases, of which we think will be called the Xperia 3, and especially true for their rumoured Xperia 0. Not too long ago we saw a render which did get us a bit excited, as it pictured a phone with Xperia 3 written underneath. Unusually, this phone has a concave curved back. Now you have to hand it to Sony, they do design very pretty phones. The Xperia XZ2 and the XZ3 both had beautiful curves that you don't really see too often on a smartphone, so it really wouldn't surprise me if Sony did go for this kind of design. In producing this model, all I've had to go on is this one photo of the side of the phone, so it's probably not exactly accurate. For the camera module, I've just imagined it to be exactly what they have on the Xperia 5 and the Xperia 1 at the moment, although it really wouldn't surprise me if we see a different style of camera module, as Sony have just announced a new type of camera sensor with an improved version of phase detection autofocus. PDAF or phase detection autofocus is what is used in most top flight smartphones at the moment, and on the whole it does a great job of tracking subjects very accurately. Generally, a subject will be moving towards you or away from you whenever you're shooting a scene, and phase detection autofocus is perfect for that. However, it really doesn't work too well for objects moving up and down in the frame. The new sensor improves on phase detection autofocus by allowing it to track objects not only backwards and forwards in the frame, but also objects moving up and down. Normal phase detection autofocus works very well, so this new omnidirectional phase detection autofocus should always keep your subject perfectly locked in focus. Another massive boost in the specs that we will see with this new device is that it will come with 12GB of RAM, twice as much RAM as the current flagship. Another rumour is saying that for the first time Sony will ditch the bezels and go for a punch hole camera. Now Sony have been pretty stubborn in this area and have never put any kind of notch on their displays, opting instead for bezels to give us an uninterrupted view. The display tech is usually pretty special and they don't want anything getting in the way. Now, I'm not a massive fan of punch hole screen cameras, although for me the best example of this type of display is on the Galaxy Note 10 series, a small cutout placed in the center of the screen. So that's what I've gone for with this model. One thing that I've noticed about this render that I've based this model on is that where there should be a volume and power button, there is none. All of the 2019 Xperia handsets had buttons placed on the right hand side, the volume placed above the fingerprint sensor, whilst the power button is placed below. But there's no sign of them here, which did get me thinking, are Sony going for capacitive buttons for their new phone? Or have they just placed them on the other side? I've erred on the side of caution and I've gone for putting the buttons on the left hand side, although it is possible that they have gone for a more streamlined look and have removed the buttons altogether, similar to the Huawei P30 Pro which we saw earlier this year, although that would be a surprising move for me. If these rumours are all correct, then we should see this handset very soon. Sony usually releases the device at MWC in Barcelona, which is in February, but they also release the device in September at IFA, and even though that is a good few months away, we already have rumours about what this device could possibly be. A little while ago we saw a pretty basic render of a device with 6 cameras across the back. Now at this point it does sound a bit unlikely that anybody would release a phone with 6 cameras across the back, but we're pretty certain that Samsung in just a couple of months will be releasing the S11, a device with 5 cameras across the back. And if Samsung are going in that direction, well then it is safe to say that most other manufacturers will. The new device from Sony is rumoured to be called the Xperia 0. With such an impressive array of camera technology across the back, could this be the device that brings Sony back into the game when it comes to smartphone photography? I for one am hopeful, but to be honest I'm not sure that just adding more lenses is necessarily the answer. For me it's the image processing that has let the latest batch of Sony handsets down. They just need to get the software right. As most of you know, Sony actually produces smartphone sensors for almost everybody, so getting decent hardware in the phone is clearly not the issue. Just adding more sensors isn't really going to help. It's the AI systems like Deep Fusion that we see in the latest iPhone, or the AI camera systems that we get in Huawei phones that really impresses the users. These systems take multiple shots very quickly and then use the AI to deliver one sharp, crisp shot. And it's in this direction that I think Sony should be going with their smartphone cameras. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the hardware, and I'm hoping that in 2020 Sony will start to move in that direction. Expect this phone to be released around about September. I would say that it would have at least 12 gigs of RAM, and hopefully Sony will put a nice fat 4000 mAh battery in there as well. and I hope that we do see those curves on the back of it as well. Anyway, let me know what you think about what the future holds for Sony in 2020. I think they made some very good handsets in 2019, although they may not be for everyone with this strange shape. They really work for me, and I'm really hoping that they can close the gap to the competition in 2020 with these new phones. I keep saying it, all they have to do is sort out the camera software and it will compete with Apple and Samsung. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe for more Sony goodness, including full reviews of these devices when they're finally released. Anyway, that's it from me. Before I go, I want to tell you about the Direct Mobile's website. It's a great place to look if you need a new phone, as you can compare all of the UK deals with all of the UK networks, everything there in one place for you. Plus, they have over 24 years of award-winning customer service. It's definitely worth a look. Check in the video description below for their link, or search directmobiles.co.uk. Also, while you're down there, check out a link for our new Btekt Amazon shop, where you'll find all the best tech and accessories. Everything there is recommended by us. It's definitely worth checking out. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Follow me on social media. My name's David. This is Btekt.
It's Arch Bad B.